Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 121 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, Nathan may be an ordained elder in the Presbyterian Church, but he's found a new religion in packing cubes.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Holy cow. I used to make fun of Alicia for using these little bags that go in your bigger bags, that go in... I didn't get it, and she made me try it, and... it's amazing.
I am a smart person.
I know you are. I just felt like it was a weird hype, and it makes, oh my gosh, it made like not only packing but unpacking into our rooms and stuff so much easier.
Yup.
I don't know why it does, but it does. It was amazing.
You were dead set against them.
I was dead set against them, 100%.
Like, fine, I'll just do it the right way, whatever.
I was wrong. There. It's been recorded for posterity. This one time I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's not how it works, but okay. What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about packing cubes because we just got back from a trip. Mm-hmm. We did not do a back-to-back cruise for spring break. No, on Disney Cruise Line, we did a side-to-side. We did a 4-night on the Dream out of Fort Lauderdale and then a 3-night. The same day that we got off the Dream, we got onto the Wish for a 3-night out in Port Canaveral, and that was amazing. So we're going to talk about our first trip down to Fort Lauderdale and onto the Dream today. And this was an amazing, amazing trip. That was so much fun.
It was.
And it started off with a bang because we packed for Sterling and didn't tell him that we were taking a vacation or going anywhere for spring break, and woke him up at 5 o'clock in the morning and said, let's go, get in the car. We're going to the airport.
Confused.
He was so confused.
Yeah. Normally when we do surprise trips, because we do them because it's fun.
Yeah.
If the kids guess where we're going, we'll say, yep, that's it. You got it. This time we decided not to do that, however, and told him that he could guess anything he wants. And if he's wrong, we'll say it's possible. If he's right, we'll say it's possible. So there was a lot of it's possibling going on.
Uh-huh. We flew down a couple days before the cruise just to get our spring break started. And we had a free day in between there in Fort Lauderdale. And we caught up with an old friend from church who moved down there to Florida, I want to say like 8-9 years ago. It's been a long time. It was so good to catch up with Chris and say
Sterling
hi.
had no idea who he was.
He does not remember. Does not remember. Not surprising.
No.
We stayed at, I think it was a Courtyard by Marriott downtown, I think is the name of it, in Fort Lauderdale. It's a really pretty cool location, fairly easy to get to right there on US 1. And we enjoyed breakfast twice at a restaurant that's right next door called Hatch. Holy cow, that place was... It was like quintessential breakfast brunch kind of place, like really amazing.
It was good.
Except the decor was bright and like lime citrus colors and very Florida. It was such like this weird dichotomy.
Yeah, we'd go there again. It was delicious.
100%. It was just not what I think of as a stereotypical breakfast place. It was opposite, 100% opposite.
Yep. So we finished our time in Fort Lauderdale, packed up and went to the port, and Sterling still had no idea.
No, he was completely oblivious. I think he was playing on his phone when we were driving over, and fine, whatever.
Even when we got there, it was a new level of obliviousness. We literally stopped to get the luggage to the porter.
Yeah.
The ship is right there.
there.
Right there. All you have to do is look, and there's the ship. He did not see that.
Sterling's like,
parked.
what are we doing? What's going on? I'm like, hey, buddy, let me take a picture of you. Like, because you were helping the porter with the bags.
Yeah.
And I was driving. Sterling was in the back seat. I took a picture of him. You can see Disney Dream, like the side of the ship behind him.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what am I smiling for?
We parked. We got in the check-in line. There's this huge mural of a Disney cruise ship covered in with Disney characters by Joey Chu just sitting on the wall there. He didn't see that. And I could tell he wasn't even just paying attention. Asked him to stand right in front of it in this one spot. And I took a picture of him with this mural in the background. He's just like, whatever. No idea. We get up to the kiosk to check in and he's like, oh, are we going on a Disney cruise? I'm like, yeah, there's people in front of us in Disney ears. They're wearing Mickey ears. And there's literally signage all throughout about getting on the cruise ship.
This is why he can't find anything in his room. Like it could be right in front of him and it's not happening. So
it was hilarious. We didn't tell him what ship we were going on once he figured that out.
Right.
And we took this really cute video of him when we were going up the gangway and him realizing it's the Dream.
Right.
None of us have been on the Dream before. So this was a lot of fun.
And it was really interesting. Embarkation. So we had, I forget the exact port arrival time. I think it was like noon or 12:15 or something like that. We were standing
late.
No, it wasn't too late, but it wasn't, I mean, I would say it's still fairly early, you know, and by the time we got there at 12:15 or so, they were already saying, port arrival times don't matter. Everybody just get in line. Let's go.
Yeah. It was,
and then
it was weird.
Yeah. And since we were platinum, thank you, Alicia. Well, I'm platinum now too. So hooray. We didn't have any wait to get on board, which was awesome. And we got into we didn't even get to enjoy the brand new Disney Cruise Line terminal building because they were boarding all groups by 10:15 in the morning.
12:15. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yes, 12:15. It was incredible. We were kind of shocked.
Yeah. Just from what we could see of the terminal, it looked very nice.
Right.
They had it set up really well.
Yeah. But it was so awesome to get on the Dream. This is completing our, what do we call this? It's not a Grand Slam because that's 4. This is the Fab Five. Full house of Disney cruise ships. This was the one that Alicia and I had not been on yet. And I think we'll have some thoughts that we'll summarize at the end, but wow.
Yep.
This definitely shook up our stack rankings of the 5 ships.
Yep. Which we were not expecting.
No, did not slot in where I thought it was going to be. We had a really fun afternoon.
We did.
First things first, you go to the Bon Voyage bar and you get a old fashioned, to walk about the ship. And then we headed on up to the spa because we wanted to get some pedicures in and get those things scheduled. And lo and behold, the next thing you knew, we were having a family pedi session with all 3 of us. They have 3 seats there, and all of us were getting our feet done. And Sterling and I got our fingernails done as well.
Yep.
And that was kind of cool. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Sterling and I guess we ended up. Were we done before you? I don't remember.
You were done before me.
We went off to go get lunch, so we did that.
Yes. And I stayed to get beautiful.
There you go.
I remember we got over to the room about 1:45 or so, or at least I got over to the room about 1:45. I think y'all were still exploring the ship. And our bags were already there. We're not in concierge. We weren't doing anything like special, but our bags were already outside our room. We were in 5526, which is the furthest forward veranda on the starboard side, and kind of low, right above where the lifeboats sit. And this was a really, really cool room. The verandas are double depth, and so we actually had 4 seats out there. 2 of them are kind of like chair recliner kind of things. It was really amazing. You could see forward. We kind of had a whole a 180-degree view of the ship, and you could see forward, and you're right below the wing of the bridge. It was an amazing deck, except it was clean, but it wasn't.
There's paint splatters
There's
everywhere. Dried,
Yeah.
but
It was dried, yes. But clearly they've been doing a lot of work. And they needed to have tarped off this deck because it was splattered all over the place.
and we were bad because we never actually mentioned that to anybody, and we really should have. I did notice I sat down on one of the chairs and ended up getting some of the paint on my pants. It didn't stick on there. It was kind of like chalky,
Just
type
flaked
thing,
off, yeah.
residue.
Yeah.
But something to note about this veranda is it's kind of like a bit of a wraparound style,
Yeah.
which was really neat. You have unobstructed views to the forward of the ship. It was neat. We'd seen this on, like, I think somebody's vlog, and we're like, oh, we should try and get that one. And we did.
And we did. And it
we
was
liked
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this location is it is on deck 5, and you are very close to the Walt Disney Theater. So because of that, you do hear a little bit of noise from the theaters.
I never noticed anything from any of the movies,
Okay.
but if I was in the room during a show, like the big theater show, the stage show, my feet were rumbling. The room was rumbling with the bass from the show. So I missed the Golden Mickeys that first night. You and Sterling went. I had a massage. So that's right. I had a mani-pedi, went to the muster drill, and then had a massage because that's how you start off your vacation. And so when I got back to the room, you guys were at the show, and the room was a little rumbly. So that was interesting. I loved this room. Would stay there again. If you have small kiddos though, who are going to be doing a nap time in those evenings, or somebody has a super early bedtime, just know that it may be a little rumbly. But honestly, I never heard anything from the movie theater. I never heard anything other than that. It was just those main show times where you heard a little bit of stuff. While I was out and Alicia and Sterling were at the show, I also stopped by to change our Remy reservation, which was going to be on one of the main dining nights, and we didn't want to skip that. We wanted to skip Pirate Night. So I moved it to Pirate Night. Now, I will say it is the one and only time I have ever felt judged on a Disney Cruise Line ship. Because I walked up to the host station there at Remy and Palo, and it was 5:30, 5:45. They were starting to, seat folks for dinner. People were showing up. And I walk up in a t-shirt, short, and flip-flops. And the host there at the station and the manager for Remy both kind of like looked me up and down and just had this judgmental look of like, oh, we're going to have to do this again, aren't we? So I was like, no, I'm just, I just want to change my reservation, and they helped me. It was great. And then the host was like, now, sir, just so you know, there is a dress code for dinner at Remy. I was like, oh, well aware, not our first time. Thank you so much. I'm not going to get looked at like that again.
Go up in a top hat and tails next time or something.
That's right. Just to change the reservation, you better be spick and span, man, ready to go. On our way to dinner, we are at Enchanted Garden that night. We passed by the Bon Voyage bar again, and standing outside in his dress whites was our good friend Ivan from Serbia. And we've known him for years at this point. He was a bartender on the Wonder in the Cadillac Lounge when we first met him. And it was so amazing. He's a bar manager now. It was so great to see him. I did walk up behind him before he knew who I was. And I said, "Excuse me, sir, do you still remember how to make a chocolate martini?" And he looked and he goes, "Oh, for you, I remember everything." It was so great to see Yvonne.
Yes.
And this is what I love about Disney Cruise Line. Like, you have these crew members, and we saw several of them on this trip that you just know and you kind of follow. And it's like family. It really is like family.
Yeah. That night we were at Enchanted Garden, and we rope dropped dinner, which we don't usually
never done that.
do. I don't know why we decided to do that this trip, but we did. And
We did. And it was great, and not my favorite menu.
No.
But we found some stuff that was good. I would say the food was good. The service was good. And no no serious complaints. It's just not from a selection. I think neither of us love everything on that menu.
Yeah.
There are definitely other menus where we're like, I don't know, do I want this one or this one or this one?
Yes.
Whereas Enchanted Garden's like, well, I'm going to have this one option that looks good and this other one option that looks good. So pictures that night, we did get a picture package with that cruise. And man, these shorter cruises, the
hard.
picture lines are just insane. I think note to selves, the next time we want to do a very short cruise, I think
picture package.
Yeah, no need for the picture package. No.
We went to the district that evening, which is the adult area on the Dream, and saw a couple of shows that were there. There's like nobody there. It was so sparsely populated throughout both of these things. So the first thing we did was a game show called Snippets, and there was maybe 18 people there at the start, including us, which
we counted. It was insane.
So few people, and it filled out a little bit afterwards. And then the second thing we did was Dream Quest, or just Quest, depending on the ship you're on, they'll put the ship there. So this was the Dream Quest, which is kind of like an interesting scavenger hunt type game. It was a lot of fun, and the people that were there really got involved in it.
You have to think outside the box. They divide the room up into different sections, and they'll say, for example, bring back a picture of a White House. And everybody's going like, where am I going to get a picture of the White House? And so Alicia busts out a napkin and a pen and draws a box with a triangle on it, and voila, you have a White House. Yep. I think they were hoping for some money, with the picture of the White House on the back.
Who carries cash anymore? But
exactly.
Yeah, this was very fun. We had a good evening.
Yeah. Day 2 is our sea day on this trip. We had breakfast at Royal Palace. We like sitting down for breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't think we did cabanas on any morning for this whole cruise.
That's okay. We had good breakfast. We decided to check out a you can cook thing that they had.
Yeah. So this is an all ages, a kind of a family event. It is kind of a little cooking seminar, and the executive pastry chef on the Dream showed us how he does. I don't know it's how we would do it. Some apple strudel, and we got to sample some as well. It was really neat seeing somebody of his skill whip something up like that. Yeah. And now it'll be very interesting if we ever do try that recipe. And they do hand out recipe cards at the end. How many that makes, because the batch that he made probably could have served 50. And I don't think if we need to make this at home, we need that much apple strudel.
It does not say on the card how many people it feeds.
Right.
Like no servings, nothing like that. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to expect on here. It's like 2 pounds of apples. So I don't know. And you do get to taste it too. Like they have a finished product for you to taste. And this was very good.
Absolutely.
This is the first time we've gone to a You Can Cook seminar. They have a lot of different ones. I've seen like lobster ravioli was one that I've seen before. I think I've seen apple crumble for one of them, but this was fun. I would do this again.
Yeah, it was awesome. I know Audie and Tim have done these a lot on their cruises, and they often talk about those. We've had Audie and Tim on a few times. So yeah, it's something that we will keep in our list of things to do on future cruises.
Yeah.
We tried a Star Wars trivia.
This was a difficult trivia.
Jeez. I was like...
I felt so Star Wars dumb, and I am not Star Wars dumb.
No. No. We got 8 out of 20 right, and the winner only had 12.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was a pretty packed trivia, too.
Yeah. And I think one of the easiest questions was like, what was Finn's stormtrooper designation?
Yeah.
And like most of the room was like, no idea. And I think like me and the guy who won are the only 2 people in the room who knew it. FN 20187, by the way.
Yeah, but you said 1187. I had to correct you.
No, I corrected myself.
Okay.
1 and 1 is 2. There. Ha ha.
Aha. We saw the Beauty and the Beast show that evening,
Yeah.
which I've heard so much about how it's a gorgeous show, and it is. This is
It's-
just a stunning show.
Yeah. I love the backdrop that they have in the theater.
Yes.
It's basically this giant LED screen that they're able to basically virtually fly in backgrounds and things right against the sides there. And they wrap that effect around the stage a little bit as well on the sides. Just the way that it would change scenes. And
Was it
Man.
LED or projections?
yes, I think it was a mix of both.
Okay.
I think it was a mix of both. And I wish all of the shows were like that because
Yeah.
it was stunning.
It was phenomenal to see. We've seen the Frozen show, which we love from the Wonder. And if they could pull that kind of technology into that, I think it would just be unstoppable.
Or if they could do something with like the Aladdin show that they have on a couple of the other ships and
Yeah.
just, I don't know, get rid of those masks. Oh my gosh.
I do
Anyhow.
kind of wish that the Belle dress, the dress that Belle wears for the big dance scene, was the one that they had used in the Golden Mickeys. It's just the one in the Golden Mickeys is a little more muted gold, but it is a much fancier and intricate dress. The
that-
one that they had in the Beauty and the Beast show is more yellow than
Yeah.
gold and just seems a lot more simple.
Well, the Golden Mickey show is 25 years old, so that dress has been through a lot.
I know. Oh, something I wanted to mention. I know we're like, this was the first day. We did see the Golden Mickeys on day one, and they didn't have Bob Iger in it anymore.
Yeah, Bob is gone. 1990s Bob is gone.
Bob's gone. It's Captain Minnie.
So congratulations, Disney, on
Yes.
finally updating that. It was a little awkward during the Bob Chapek years when Bob Iger was still introducing the Golden Mickeys, but yeah, they've fixed that.
Back to the Beauty and the Beast show. There was some technical difficulties.
That's
The
right.
show stopped after Gaston shot the beast, spoiler, and fell. This like all the stage projections and the screens turned off.
Yep.
There's like a 4 or 5 minute delay, and then it started right back up.
Yep. They handled it well.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the people in the audience did get up and leave, but
Yeah.
have a little
whatever.
patience. But whatever. We had dinner at Royal Palace. I always love the Royals. The Royal Garden, Royal Palace, Royal Table.
Royal Garden,
I don't
Royal
know.
Court, Royal Court, Royal Palace.
And there's a table. One of them has a table.
Oh, damn it.
Hey, it's Triton's on the Wonder, so
This is true.
we also had a FaceTime call with Caitlin because that was her birthday.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Caitlin. And yeah, we were at sea. Sorry.
We decided to go up to the Meridian and have a round of chocolate martinis.
Yeah,
And
that was
we
fun.
We were hoping to have Yvonne come up and make them, but he was not available.
He was not, but it's okay. They were still amazing. And then it was a long day. We were just really, really tired. As a point of order, we finally got back into our house about 48 hours before we left on this trip. And it's just been go, 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 go. And I think we kind of crashed at the end of this day.
Yep.
And we hit match or mate. We got probably through the first half, and then we were just like, we're flagging fast, and we were out.
And Sterling, of course, is like at the edge every night. He's off having his own fun time with people. So he had a blast too.
Absolutely.
Day 3 was Nassau Day.
We did not get off the ship.
Nope.
We did send our laundry out, which was amazing. That's the other decision that we've decided to make, that, you know what, rather than fight all the crowds and everything, we're just going to send our laundry out. You know, we're splurging on these trips. You may not want to do that, but for us, it just made sense. And that day they had a laundry sale, I guess you'd call it, and you could do a laundry bag with up to 30 items in it for $25. So yes, you could do it more cheaply, but you're going to be fighting the crowds and working on those laundry machines and all the rest of that stuff versus you give it to them and they give it back the next day and it's all good.
Yeah, you'll be taking time out of your vacation to do the laundry.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had breakfast at Royal Palace again, and we wanted to try out the rainforest room on the ship. So we did that.
Indeed.
It seems really small for such a large ship.
It is. The Dream was the first to have a rainforest room, right? Didn't they retrofit them back onto the Wonder and the Magic?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember. Well, if that's wrong, then I didn't say it. Never mind. Strike that from the record. Anywho, yeah, it is small. It has several different showers of different water flow types and temperatures and all the rest of that. And they've got a sauna in there. They've got a couple hot tubs. They have these amazing loungers that are like heated stone tile that you can just relax on. Those were wonderful.
Those are nice.
I've heard from...
I would like one in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we did just get a heating system, underfloor heating system for the master bath tile.
Yes,
so you could lie down in the bathroom and that'd be the same thing, right?
No, because it doesn't have the beautiful, gorgeous angle of the seats.
Details. You're so needy.
I am. No, these were great. Like, I just kind of melted into this thing and was reading on my Kindle. I'm like, I could just stay here for the rest of the cruise.
I have heard that in the before times that a lot of people did that and they would oversell the rainforest room passes and it got really difficult to have any time in those loungers. It never seemed super busy at any of the times that we were there.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't try on the sea day, so that may have been different, but listening to other podcasts like DCL Duo, I know Brian likes to go to the rainforest room quite often, and he's mentioned that it's gotten a lot better after the pandemic because they're limiting how much or how many of those passes they're selling. Now, they also jacked up the price a bunch.
They did.
So
Yeah.
there's a give and take there.
Yeah.
But.
I was wondering if they started limiting the passes, because I know you could do length of cruise passes, and I'm fairly certain that sometimes they will offer daily passes as well.
I think
Maybe
that's a much
only if
more.
they don't.
I think that's a much more rare occasion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we stayed there for the morning. We went to the Cove pool, the adult pool area for the afternoon, just kind of chilled there.
Love that pool. Love just hanging out there, having a drink, lounging in the pool. Got to talking with a whole bunch of people and just having a good old time without a lot of kids around. It was pretty great.
We were able to snag a chocolate and liquor tasting like the week before the cruise. I just happened to be looking on the app and saw that one was available. I'm like, book.
Yes.
We'll do this one. And we had that at Pink, which is the champagne lounge on the Dream. And it was hosted by Fernando from Portugal. And he hosted us on the Fantasy in December.
Indeed. Both times were equally good. We did have dinner at Remy that night. And it's an amazing experience.
It's just so good.
I just... We'll absolutely do this again.
It's crazy expensive, but it's so good. It's such an experience. Delicious food, good drink pairing. Nathan got the wine package. I got the 0 proof drink package to go with my drinks, to go with my food.
Wow.
More drinks to go with my drinks. Yeah. I don't know if I'd do that again.
Why is that?
Well, it's not alcoholic for one.
There's no fun in it. Ugh.
Also, I am very particular with my drinks. I like sweeter drinks. One of the drinks was a 0 proof martini, which was literally brine, olive juice, and black currants. Which does not sound appetizing at all.
No, it does
you
not.
Just take those 3 things together. And
Yeah.
it was a salty, obviously. It was a salty drink and I did not like it. They did have a 0 proof old fashioned, which I thought was really good. And it was smoked too, which was kind of cool. But overall, I think I wouldn't want to do that unless I could choose the drinks.
Okay.
But we had some good stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That evening, we were, there came over the announcements and said, hey, we're going to actually try to dock at Castaway overnight about 12:30 in the morning because they were expecting some strong winds and they wanted to go in when the winds were going to be a little bit less and have a little bit more of a favorable tide. So we did, based on the thrusters waking us up at about 12:30, try to get in. They were not successful. And based on what I felt happened and kind of heard, I'm pretty sure we tagged one of the pilings that are towards the end of the pier. So all of a sudden the ship just went dead quiet after a bunch of thruster movement, and then it just had this really sudden like lurch, and I heard this thung. It's like, oh, and then we were done, and then we were able to successfully dock at 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, that was interesting. Oh, we did have breakfast at Cabanas this morning.
Churro Mickey waffles.
Churro Mickey waffles. Yep. That was amazing. But we kind of, slept in, let everybody do the rush of Cabanas and then getting off the ship and going to Castaway. And we had a little bit of a later breakfast, enjoyed those Mickey waffles and the relative ease of trying to find a seat with which to sit and have breakfast.
Yeah. And we did not really, Nathan, you went on, but we didn't go to Castaway this day. People were talking about how crazy windy it was, and most everything was canceled and closed.
Yep. Even the snorkeling lagoon was closed. It was just insane on the island. We heard people complaining, well, not complaining, but I guess pseudo complaining, noting, we'll say, that the wind was even whipping up all the sand and it was just blowing everywhere, and it was not the greatest experience there. Yeah. So, Castaway is unfortunately one of those places where sometimes they're able to make it and sometimes they're not. And even when they do, a lot of those shore excursions are subject to weather. So a little bit of a roll of the dice there. But when it works, it's amazing. I did get off. I had some merch shopping I needed to go try to do. But
you needed to get koozies.
I did need to get koozies. We forgot koozies. Shame. Well, we'll hear more about that next week. Yeah.
One of the reasons that we stayed on the ship was because we wanted to get on the aqueduct. And every time we had tried to go, there was just crazy lines.
Yes.
And there weren't very many people on the ship. So we got on the aqueduct and it was easy. Because it was so windy out, they were requiring 2 people to be on the rafts. Yep. Sometimes you can go just one person on there, but because of the high winds, they needed 2.
Yep. But it was still fun. We all got to go twice. Alicia went with Sterling, and then I went with Sterling, and then Alicia and I got to go together. And I will say, when you have 2 relatively large adults in one of those little rafts, physics works, and we were flying.
Yes. Got drenched.
Yep.
Oof.
That was fun. That was a really great experience.
Yeah. That was my first time on that. I liked it.
And so you went and saw Believe that evening.
Yeah, Sterling and I went and watched Believe. We have not seen the show before. Well, obviously because it's on the Dream, and we've never been on the Dream before. There's some really funny moments in here. The genie shows up as a part of the show, and one of the characters goes, "It's a blue giant." And Genie says, "Giant? I was thinking more Genie plus."
Oh, boy.
Yep. So Genie was there, Merlin was there, Mary Poppins, Baloo, Pocahontas, Rafiki, Peter Pan. There's just a lot of different characters in there. It was a lot of fun.
Is it another one of those shows kind of a la Golden Mickey's where you have a lot of vignettes and songs and from different movies?
Yeah,
and things?
It's kind of like a mini review type thing.
Yeah. Nice.
I like those kinds of shows, though.
I do too. That's fun.
Yeah.
I stayed in the room and was doing some packing. Boo.
Boo.
I do not like these short cruises.
No.
Oh, well. popped down to 687, which is the pub there right before dinner because they were doing a raffle and I wanted to see if I won. I did not.
You did not.
Knowing the bar manager did not help in this case. And I gave him an earful about not picking my name.
Don't want to go favoritism here, though.
No, I know.
It was dinner time.
Yeah, we were in Animator's Palette.
One of my favorites.
It's a great restaurant. And this was the Turtle Talk with Crush show. And this was the first time in all of our cruises that we were actually seated at a table at one of the screens.
Yeah, we got to talk to Crush.
It was so cool. We got Crush to say "Go Hawks" because we're from Seattle, and it was really special.
Yep.
It was really special.
And then that evening, we went back to the adult district and over to Evolutions and did Pop, which is kind of like a memory game.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And what was the other one? 80s. I don't remember what 80s was.
I think it was music trivia or something. I don't know. I don't
Pop,
remember.
Yeah, Pop was kind of fun.
Yeah. And then the next morning, it was get up at stupid early o'clock for vacation because we were going to do express walk-off. So we needed to be ready to go. We got to the elevator about 7:20, which is right at the time when they announced that express walk-off was ready to go. We got in the elevator again at 7:20 a.m. and we got to the atrium. We kept to the right. They had multiple lines going and people were just shoved over to the left, and there was a really short line over to the right. I think it's because of the stairs that were there.
Yeah.
So pro tip, go right. We got right off the ship. The Fort Lauderdale customs was not a nightmare because if you sail with your passport, they just do facial recognition, and there was no line. Literally, we were in the parking garage in 10 minutes after we hit the elevator.
It's crazy. I loved it so much.
Our minds were blown.
Yes.
We have never had an experience like this.
We've literally been in the customs line for over an hour before trying to get off the ship.
Yes. So, lesson to everybody. I know folks are, for various reasons, not wanting to sail with a passport. Holy cow. Just do it. This is worth it alone.
Yeah.
Because if you're sailing with just a birth certificate, you have to go through and do the little exit interview with somebody from customs. You don't get to opt into this facial recognition thing. So
if you are in a position where you can get a passport, highly recommend doing that.
Absolutely. And then, we got to the car and secretly swapped bag tags, and we were on the road. And that trip is for next week's episode. So, circling back, let's talk about the dream, Alicia. Holy cow. We like the fantasy.
Dream.
We like the fantasy. That was up there on our list.
Yeah.
And it is shuffled down on our list because the dream is amazing. The district is so much better. Just the decor and the spaces are a little bigger and it's just a little bit more open feeling. And you don't have I don't know what those walls are that are in that area on the fantasy.
It's still like that.
It's still like that, but the walls are normal. They're just
it doesn't
curved.
have I forget what it is. Milan, I think.
Sure.
It's themed after Milan. You've got you've got the mosaics on there. Now, I think the mosaics are gorgeous on the fantasy. I think they're really pretty in the bathroom area. It still has the weird S-curve hallway there. I think the area where the pub and the champagne bar are and whatever that other thing is.
Yeah.
I think that layout is so much easier to get around. It doesn't have the carousel in the middle like it does on the fantasy.
You're talking about on the easier to get around on the dream.
Yes, it's much easier to get around
Yeah.
on the dream. I like where they have the bar, how it's kind of against a wall rather than smack dab in the middle of your walkway. I don't know. I just like the vibe of this one better.
Yeah. The decor, I think, is nicer. You know, it's kind of like you have the magic and the wonder both have, different styles. And and we like the Wonders style a lot better. I like the Dreams style a lot better than I do the Fantasy. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like the Fantasy, and the Fantasy has been really high on our list because, frankly, it's been doing the 1 week cruises, and that's kind of our minimum bar for happiness. Not that we're not happy on a shorter cruise, but they're definitely too short. But I really, really, really like the Dream.
I did too. Like I would, if they offered a transatlantic on the Dream again, I would do that in a heartbeat. I'd rather do it on the Wish or the Treasure, but
That'll be a little while before they do that, I'm sure.
I know. But if they do a transatlantic when we're ready to do a transatlantic and it's on the Dream, that'd be a no-brainer for us.
Yeah. Would it be a no-brainer if they did it on the Fantasy for you? Because they are going to be doing it on the Fantasy at least in 2025. So, like, if they did the Fantasy again in 26, would you jump on it as fast as you would if it was on the Dream?
Yeah, because it's a transatlantic and it's on a Disney ship. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I guess I should qualify that. I don't care. I would rather it be on the Dream than the Fantasy, but I would still go on the Fantasy.
Yeah.
I still prefer the smaller ships over the Dream and the Fantasy.
Agreed.
And I actually think I prefer the Wish over the Dream and Fantasy as well.
Spoilers.
No, I was kind of like that before too,
Yeah?
though. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that next week because I don't know that I disagree with you anymore. But before this week, I did disagree with that. I would definitely disagree with that. And the Wish has popped up, but we'll get more into that next time. Yeah. There's a couple observations that we wrote down that I just want to run through here. I will note that on this cruise on the Dream and the one we'll talk about next week on the Wish, the amount of strollers that we're seeing on board has exploded recently. And I don't know if it's just these itineraries or the time of year or what, but I mean, there was even people with double wide strollers. And folks, these ships are not set up for strollers.
Not big strollers. Umbrella strollers are fine, but people are bringing big strollers.
Big strollers. It was insane. We also noted there's a lot more first timers on these shorter cruises, which makes sense. I mean, our first cruise was a shorter cruise as well. And we just do longer cruises more often. So we're just not as used to being the massive vets on board. We'll do a Panama Canal cruise and it seems like everybody's platinum, but you do this and, nobody is. So it was interesting.
The longer cruises are much quieter. There's usually fewer kids.
Yeah. We witnessed an interesting phenomenon that I want to share. So everybody talks about the service and how clean the Disney ships are. There was what we love to call a 2319 at a table at lunch. And there was, we'll call it a protein spill, if you will, from someone. And we saw a yellow bag come out and everything from the table was being put into a yellow bag. And we were like, that's interesting. And so we talked to somebody to our server, and they said, when there's a protein spill, they don't mess around. Everything gets tossed. Not sterilized, tossed. Thrown away.
Glassware was in there, linens, salt and pepper shakers, even the menus.
Yeah, all gone. So that's really cool. I mean, it sucks that they have to throw all that stuff away, but they're not messing around. I think the only thing that they sterilize would be obviously the table underneath the tablecloth and all the rest of that stuff, and the what do you call it? Like the table tent,
number.
The thing that has the table number on it.
Yeah.
They sterilize that, but everything else actually is just thrown away. So that was really kind of cool. I made a discovery. The big kind of square push light switches that are right there in your stateroom as you walk in on the wall. I knew those were tap on, tap off. Did you know if you hold them in while they're on, they will dim up or dim down? I didn't, and I learned something new on my 16th cruise with Disney. That was so cool. We did have the internet package. I thought it was surprisingly usable. It was surprisingly stable. There was no quitting Wi-Fi and hopping back on. It's the first time that I can remember having a really great experience with the Wi-Fi on a Disney ship. I was quite impressed. And we weren't streaming Netflix or anything, but...
No, it was so I could keep my Duolingo streak. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But we were posting some things on our socials and just taking the downtime and doing a little bit of browsing, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm. How many people were on the ship, Nathan?
There were 3,867 guests on board the Disney Dream and 1,601 kids.
There's a lot of kids. That is a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids. Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was that full to me, though.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. And I don't know why, but I was just expecting a spring break trip to feel a lot more busy, and it just didn't. Now, lines for photography were insane. That's where it felt busy.
Yeah.
But everything else was really kind of calm and sane. So, yeah, I liked it. I'm glad we did this one.
Yes. Now we've done all the ships.
Yep.
But we need to get on the Magic again.
We do.
Do you know how long it's been since we have been on that ship?
I could do the math, but that was the first ship we were ever on, and that was 2009. So
like 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard they've done a few things to it since then. I think it's been through 2 or 3 major dry docks.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to do the Magic again before they get rid of it.
Yes.
Now, that is just rumor and innuendo that we don't know anything.
No, we have no
it's
idea.
just, I think the writing's on the wall. Personal opinions here. I think they're going to replace them, but we'll see. Hopefully not in the near future.
With that, we are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We do recommend working with a travel agent or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can follow us on socials. We are at Our Mousecapades. Please take a moment, rate and review in your podcast app to help people find us.
Thanks for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.